Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Welcome to episode 26 of our Top 5 Fridays news videos. Bob, welcome to your third episode.
Our third episode.
It's great having you here. I think our audience likes you being here for these. So,
all right.
Welcome back.
Hopefully I can contribute some positivity to this week's news.
Yeah, this week's news is not quite as positive as last week's news. It's funny how much can change in a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, last week, I think right away we talked about how the race in Solden went off as pretty much a full success. To start things off this week, we've got some, I suppose, slightly more, not pessimistic, but potentially negative news, World Cup related news. And kind of our first two topics this week are pretty close, so we'll kind of just lump them into one conversation. Excuse me for reaching for this hair in my eye, but something's up there. So basically right now what's happening in Europe is there are some increased COVID restrictions, and those restrictions are kind of threatening World Cup events. So to stick in the World Cup theme, on Wednesday, France and Germany both put in place new restrictions for COVID. Now, in the immediate, we look to be okay. There's a couple races, not this weekend, but the following weekend, I believe, like two weeks away. And right now, those look like they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Now, the issue is, in early December, the World Cup is heading into France, Switzerland, and Italy. And France and Italy are two of the spots where increased restrictions have gone in place. So, kind of a bummer. Hopefully, basically the plan right now is Italy's restrictions are scheduled to be lifted on November 24th, and France's on December 1st. So if that happens, those scheduled races will be able to go off just fine, without issue. But as we know, happened here in the United States too. The set dates often get pushed further.
It just makes you realize like how much is involved. Like on the surface, you're like, well, there's one skier skiing on the course.
Yeah,
Like that shouldn't be a problem. But it just makes you realize how big and how many people are involved in this process overall.
Yeah, exactly. And we had one skier that tested positive just a few days after Solden.
Yeah.
He's put out a statement that he's doing okay and feeling great, and that he's following all the, infectious disease expert guidelines. So good to see. Good to see that he's doing well. Not great to see that the World Cup is feeling some effects of COVID. But I think this was to be expected.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the season was going to go off without like any issue coming up. That would have been just like, that hasn't happened in really any sport. Like even the NBA with their bubble, there were still concerns and things they had to figure out. So I don't think it's too surprising. And I think I'm going to remain positive and hope that we can have at least a mostly complete World Cup season.
And just, it's good to be adaptable and just expect change to happen and
yeah, exactly.
that it's not all going to go off as it always has.
Yep. No, certainly not. And that kind of brings us to the second topic of the week, which follows pretty much exactly the same trend. So I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Cervinia? I think I'm getting that.
I don't know. Yeah,
Anyways,
I don't know that.
Cervinia, we're going to go with that. In Italy, they opened to the public for skiing and recently have closed. We did get increased restrictions from the Italian government, the Italian Minister of Sports saying you will not go skiing in Italy in November, which is a pretty blanket, hard statement. Part of the reason, or part of what caused their closure, and I'll put the photos up, is there were some viral pictures of the crowds, which were significant.
Yeah, they look bad. I mean, it looks bad from just a visual optic standpoint of all these people crowded together.
Yeah.
It's not that one skier on the hill by themselves type of thing that you think keeps skiing kind of insulated from this. It's
right.
very much a crowd of people.
Right. And in this case, it looked to me like an upload-download
Yeah.
thing. So it was a lot of people like not, they weren't clicked into their skis. They were
Right.
holding their skis. And in a situation like that, you're going to be like a lot closer. I think what's nice about lift lines is there's natural spacing from the length of your skis, which I think hopefully will help. But yeah, it wasn't a great thing to see.
It looks like those pictures from that day at Vail last year were,
Yeah.
a huge snow day, and everyone ended up in the bowl. And
Right, and then when they were getting out, it was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
massive lift
Yeah.
lines. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what it reminded me of, or like A Basin opening, like early weekends at A
Right.
Basin when the lift line goes like literally halfway up the skiable terrain.
Right. You ski down, and then you have to hike back up to get into the lift line.
Yeah. So it definitely reminded me of things like that. And I think as you were saying, like adaptability and learning and making changes. Let's just look at this as a learning experience and like what not to do, and hopefully it gives other areas, both in the United States and in Europe and across the world in general, hopefully it kind of gives some idea of or some increased guidance of how they can operate.
Yeah.
Now there are still 3 resorts currently open in Italy: Val Senelase, Passo Stelvio, and Solden am Ortler.
You need to go to Italian learning language school.
Absolutely. But those 3 resorts are still open. I was really interested in this and read through it quite a bit. Maybe somebody from Italy who's watching this video can give us increased clarification. But those resorts are staying open for now, claiming provisions of .46 of the Ordinance of the Sud Tyrol, where, I'm not an expert on European government,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounded like kind of this region has its own ordinance and its
Right.
own like mini government.
It's probably like the state, like Vermont has different guidelines than Colorado.
Right. So as far as now, right now, those 3 resorts are still open. And yeah, if anybody out there is living and skiing in Italy or anywhere in Europe, we'd love for you to chime in and kind of let us know what the experience has been so far. Now, as far as ski resorts in the United States, these next 2 topics we're back in the homeland, so to speak. We talked about this multiple times throughout the summer and the fall, and probably brought it up originally way back in the spring. Ski areas were worried about staffing this season because there have been basically like the temporary visa programs that they relied on for international employees have been just suspended for now. So ski areas were worried that they weren't going to have the normal influx of employees that they once had. For the most part, they're doing just fine, and they're kind of citing the increase in college age applicants, which is something that we talked about a couple months ago. That people were hypothesizing that there were going to be more applicants from college kids who were taking gap years or who were learning remotely, that kind of stuff. So most resorts, or the resorts from this article at least, were saying they're doing okay. Some of them were even saying they're like fully staffed through the spring, which is really rare. Like I have worked in a resort town for a seasonal business, and this time of year was exceptionally challenging because if you are hiring an international employee, they have a limit to their visa.
Right.
So it would be like, okay, you're going to work from this date until like mid-March. What am I going to do in mid-March? It's normally kind of like, well, I'll figure it out then. But yeah, some of these resorts are fully staffed, which is cool. Now they did cite an exception to this theory, and that being what they called unskilled positions, like housekeeping and kitchen staffs and stuff like that, which I think is just like disappointing from a wide range of perspectives.
Right. But if like lodging is down or like on-hill dining is down, they're not going to need
True.
like the stewards or the bus people to clear tables if the restaurants aren't working to capacity. So
Yeah, that's. I mean,
it might not have a huge impact on what you see from a day to day.
That's a really good point. And yeah, I'd be really interested in like what the percentage is of their normal staffing for positions like that. Like, are they staffing at 50% or 40%? Be really interested to hear that. But yeah, I think, like the staff at ski areas, especially like big ski areas, like, I'm thinking like Vail, Breckenridge, stuff like
Whistler,
that.
like Whistler always,
Right.
That one I thought would always have a hard time getting enough people to. I mean, it's like a city.
Right.
Same with Breckenridge. It's just a huge area.
Yeah, so I think like, the staff might look a little different at those resorts this year, and it'll be kind of cool to see. I did a gap year and worked at a ski resort, and strongly encourage it.
Yeah,
so
great.
it's a lot of fun. And then last topic of the week is pretty much the opposite of the first topic of the week, in the sense that ski resorts in the United States are starting to open.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf Creek in Colorado is planning on opening this Wednesday. They had like a big storm, 22 inches of snow, like heavy wet snow. I have a friend that lives in Boulder who posted a bunch of pictures of Nordic skiing in Boulder. Like the Boulder Nordic Club has already been grooming their trails and stuff like that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So like ski season is here in North America. We had snow on Mount Mansfield this morning. Not like significant accumulation, but it's here. So
there's another place too, Trollhagen, I think. It's Midwest. I can't remember the exact location, but
yeah. So ski resorts are starting to open. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I think it would be unfair for us to make any speculations right now, but I'm a glass half full type of guy, and usually pretty optimistic and positive. So I still feel like we're going to have a really strong, good ski season here in the United States. I think it'll look a little different and feel a little different. There was one of our owners sent me an article this morning about, I can't remember what resort, but a resort in New Hampshire had put out like a helpful hint guideline of like how to put your boots on at your car, stuff like that. I know Waterville Valley is planning on grooming paths like through the parking lots,
so you can ski back to your car.
car. Yep, to kind of limit congestion in base areas. Yep. So I love the problem solving.
Right, the innovation I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot with, like we were just talking about it with our masks.
Right.
Like all the new companies coming out with these products that are gonna help us get out on the hill.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, I think it's great. My coaching has started. We got dryland training tomorrow. All the kids are great. They all wear masks and they all understand. And I think I'm positive that although we're seeing some not so exciting news out of Europe right now, I'm still positive that we'll have a good season.
It's still October too, so we got a long way to go either way.
We do. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But that's it for news topics of the week. Kind of a quick news week. Then we got our edits of the week. So Sammy Carlson put out his trailer for his new film Resilience. Sammy Carlson's crazy. Did you happen to watch this one?
No. The thing that I like when he does is jump off that big Nordic jump.
Yeah, actually there was an interview with Sammy Carlson recently, and he cited that as one of his... In his mind, that was one of his biggest accomplishments.
That was pretty cool.
In his entire skiing career. That was insane.
Yeah. If
anybody hasn't seen that, go back and watch that. He came like really close to
not doing well.
Because those Nordic jumps have like metal.
Right.
Like I think it's for judging distance. Like I think those poles are.
I don't know. It's a slim margin of error.
Yeah, he almost ran into a metal pole going real fast. Next, we have Tanner Hall's short film called Eternal. Tanner Hall's got a longer film, too, so this one's like 5 minutes. Some pretty darn cool shots. Mm-hmm. Tanner Hall's still got it.
Yep.
He's getting older. I can't remember if he's older or younger than me, but either way, he's outside of the age range of most urban park skiers.
Yeah.
And he's still skiing really well. Like, Ski Boss is a fitting nickname for him. And then third edit of the week is The Whirl from Solomon TV. Are you familiar with The Whirl?
I'm not.
WURL. I can't remember what it stands for. It's an acronym. It's 58 kilometers of trails, basically, through the Wasatch Mountains.
Yep.
And it's really popular in the summer for, like, trail runner, like, ultra marathons and like, big time mountaineers.
Yep.
It had never been done in the winter. And this is the story of a couple of backcountry skiers completing it in the winter.
Cool.
It's fascinating.
Yep.
It's like about 15 minutes long. Would definitely encourage you to watch it.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And they did a bunch of cool stuff, like to eliminate the amount of gear or minimize the amount of gear they were carrying. They went out first and like stashed different campsites, so they didn't have to carry as many tents and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought it was fascinating. And then the last edit of the week is from Dylan Siggers, called Intent. If you're not familiar with Dylan Siggers, he's a sponsored line athlete, unbelievable creative skier. Most line athletes have a touch of creativity in their skiing, or else they don't make it onto the line team. But Dylan Siggers he's got like a really cool combination of creativity and then just like really, really strong ski technique.
Can he do nose blocks?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I really care about these days.
I'm sure. I feel like that's a prerequisite of being on the line team these days.
That's your video. That's your audition tape.
Yeah, if you can't stand on the tips of your skis, you don't really fit into the line team.
I want to see a full edit of just nose blocks next week.
Will Wesson, give us a nose block edit. Anyways, that's Top 5 Fridays. Thanks for joining us. I know it was pretty quick, not like too exciting of a news week. Bob, anything you want to end with?
No, let's make it more positive next week.
You looking forward to Halloween tomorrow?
Yeah. I wish that was more positive, too.
That's okay. You said it's your daughter's favorite holiday.
It's the Super Bowl.
It's here in Stowe, Halloween is the Super Bowl of holidays for kids. I think the town did a really good job of providing a safe and fun opportunity for kids. So, happy Halloween. Hope you enjoy it. Please enjoy it safely. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.